I'm Swami Gyandev. I serve as Director of Ananda Yoga and as Co-Director of Ananda Meditation Teacher Training. If you're a teacher with strong spiritual interest, of course you want to bring that into your classes. It's a way to keep yourself inspired as well as to reach the growing number of people who want more than exercise from yoga and more than stress reduction from meditation. They don't want beliefs or dogma. They want experience. So how can you do that? I'd like to share a few ideas with you. The most important thing for your sharing is your vibration. That's how you come across to your students. When you have a strong spiritual vibration, much more can happen in your class. And that comes from your own spiritual practices, as well as the way you live your life. It's who you are, and you can't fake it. And one key to developing that spiritual vibration is daily meditation. There's really nothing else that can feed your spiritual nature like meditation. And a great time to meditate is right before you teach. So you'll be bringing your highest vibration to your students. I'd like to share with you a couple different approaches for how to bring the spiritual into your classes. And first, you could do an overt approach, bring God directly into your class. And I don't mean lecture about God, but don't be shy about saying God or Spirit or higher self. Just make it clear that you don't have some kind of an agenda other than to help a good thing to happen. You might want to say to students, I'll occasionally use the word God or higher self. If that's not your word for it, well then think of your word instead, or just let it go. That'll relax them and make them more receptive. So what might the practice look like in this case? Well, I'll offer you several possibilities. One of them is you could invite your students to practice in partnership with God. In fact, you could do that right now, watching this video in partnership with God. And I'll say to students, do your practice along with God. Feel that God is right there beside you, doing it at the same time you're doing it. Keep up a constant inner conversation with God. And be sure to leave some spaces for God to speak. And in those spaces, listen closely with your heart. Because often the divine response is a wordless feeling. And if your heart is sensitive, you can feel it. It might be something about your practice, it might be something totally different. But wonderful, inspiring insights and inspiration can come when you bring God into your practice like that. Now, another possibility is to feel that God is doing your practice, not along with you, but through you. And I'll tell students, get out of the way. Let the divine flow through you. Let the divine animate every aspect of your being, not just your bodily movement, but your sense perceptions, your breath, your thoughts. You're not doing any of it. In fact, that is the ultimate truth. As the Bhagavad Gita says repeatedly, you're not doing any of it. God is doing all of it. And when you can get out of the way and really have a sense of that happening, you feel such a sense of freedom and such a closer connection with the divine. Now there's a third possibility in this more overt approach, and that's a devotional component to the practice. Now, we normally think of devotion as an expression of love for God. Well, sometimes you're feeling that and sometimes you're not. But there is something that you can always feel, and that's the desire to realize your own highest potential. So let your expression of devotion be just that actively expressing that desire. If you do this in your practice, what you'll find is that your heart is expanding. Your heart is relaxing so it can grow larger, so that you can feel more of a heart connection. Whether it's however you conceive of God or with your own highest potential, it's not really different. And what you'll find is a beautiful enriching of your practice and a relaxation in your heart. So any of these possibilities can lead to a very beautiful and deep experience. There's another sort of approach I'd like to offer, and that is by focusing on one of the 8 aspects of God. Now, the Indian spiritual teachings describe these 8 as love, joy, peace, calmness, light, sound, wisdom, and power. So you can plan a class that focuses on trying to experience one of these. And you can use the principle that really comes into all yoga practices, whether asana, meditation, chanting, anything. And that's that whatever you want to get out of the experience, put as much of that same thing into the practice as you possibly can. Like you're priming the pump for more of it to come to the practice. For example, suppose your focus was peace, wanting to experience the peace aspect of God, the peace aspect of your own higher self. Well, then do your practice, whether it's asana or meditation, doesn't matter. Do your practice with as much peace as you can put into it, and with a very alert mind at the same time. That's really important, because most of us have a long-held habit of equating peace with passivity. Like, I'm done. I can just check out now. But to really put peace into your practice, if you want to touch the highest octave of peace, which is a dynamic, vibrantly alive, rejuvenating divine peace, we can't be at that passive level. We need to very actively put peace into the practice. So if you're teaching an asana class, for example, you could invite your students to make every movement calm, smooth, graceful, patient, slow. Or if you're teaching a meditation class, you could say, let even your efforts to stay focused be calm. Just be there completely relaxed. If you go this way, then what is going to happen is you're going to bring more and more of a connection with peace into your practice, but there's something more that needs to happen. And that's that the heart needs to reach out for more of that divine peace, which is not out there, but in here. The way I like to think of it is this. When you're in a hurry to go somewhere and you're trying to find something you need, and you find part of it, but you don't find the other part of it, what do you think? You think, I know it's here somewhere. I'll find it. I know it's here somewhere. Have that in your practice, that sense of, I know that peace is here somewhere. I know that I will find it. Have that confident expectation, that magnetic yearning that's going to draw it to you. Or, more accurately, draw you to an awareness that has been inside of you all the time. It's a beautiful way to bring more peace into your life, more peace into your consciousness. You can do the same thing with any of the other 7 aspects of God. For example, if you wanted to look into a closer connection with the joy aspect of God, well, practice with joy. You know, so many of us have a long-held habit that we're joyful when there's an outward reason to be joyful. Maybe we get a promotion, maybe we get a compliment, maybe we enter into a new relationship. So it takes some energy and focus to be relentlessly joyful, enthusiastic in your practice without necessarily having something outward to fuel that, because that will help you to begin to touch into the unlimited supply of joy that's inside of you. So again, that heart's yearning, that magnetic yearning that will invite more of that experience of joy to come to the forefront of your awareness. So it's not just practicing with joy, but keep inviting joy. And when we practice in this way, with that heart's yearning for whatever quality you're looking for, what happens? You give yourself fully to it. You try to absorb yourself fully in it. And divine grace comes into the picture, helping to amplify your efforts, helping you to experience even more of that. And there's another way that you could take to experience the divine joy, perhaps a more palpable way, and that's through working with the life force, working with the energy within the body. And I'll share this experientially in another video called Connect with Divine Bliss. I hope you'll find some of these ideas useful in your classes so that you can help your students through their efforts and through God's grace to experience more of their own highest potential. That's the highest practice of yoga, the highest practice of meditation, the highest of all spiritual practices. Joy to you.